Hello, everybody, and welcome to our final order cutoff show. Go F.O.C yourself with me, Branton, talking about all the good books and whatnot that y'all are gonna want to let us know you want. It's been a wild day. I was doing business BIA area meeting, so our business district I'm the chair of, and it comes with a bit of responsibility, some of which I put upon myself. But when we kind of went through a very recent check to see like how boards should work properly and whatnot, kind of discovered that the things that I put upon myself are things that a chair should actually be doing for the board in terms of communication and whatnot. So there was a little bit of that today. There's some exciting stuff, hopefully, coming for the area. And very excited about that stuff. But, meetings like that kind of put me on a little bit of the back foot. But I've got everything ready. We'll jump right into some final order cutoffs. 'Cause I ate like a quick ass lunch, still a little hungry. So right after this, I'm gonna eat me some foods, put that meal stuff right in my face hole, and it's gonna be dope. But until then, some final order cutoffs. Let's get to it. Boom. Are you doing the share screen like I want you to? Yeah, you are. Oh, yeah. Look at that screen being shared with everybody. Like it should be done. Everything that you're seeing on Previews World, we need to know about by 5 p.m. on Sunday. Yes, it does say over here, orders due Monday, March 1st. That's because that's when I need to put in the orders. If I don't got time to process it, it makes it real hard to make sure that everyone can get their stuff. So Sunday at 5 p.m., always preferred. Slight bit of wiggle room, but after that point in time, I can't guarantee you nothing. Nothing. Double negatives all over this friggin' place. All right. Bitterroot number 11 is the start of the third arc of Bitterroot. It is amazing. It is an amazing comic series, basically like black magical realism. If you're going to do sort of like a take on magic and magicians and whatnot, but really instill a lot of black culture in it, that's what you're getting here. It is co-written by David Walker and Chuck Brown with art by Sanford Green. It is an astounding book, a very important book these days, and the first two arcs are really incredible. I quite enjoy them. Crossover has a few different printings coming out. If you missed out on anything, we still have some copies at the store. Department of Truth number 1 is getting a 4th printing. It was announced that there's some media coming, a TV show, I believe, soon enough. I think we just ran out of number 1s at the store of first prints, which is pretty good considering we're like 6 months in. A lot of interest in that. And we've got 4 and 5. If y'all done missed out. Speaking of Department of Truth, we probably did show you. You know what? I'm going to do this. Slight technical difficulties while I come back here. 5 seconds. A lot of you will know that we have our store exclusive cover for the first collection of Department of Truth. It is gorgeous. It does have a bit of a collage of the first 5 issues, and it's got the cover designer and artist credit there, and our logo right there. Very, very happy about that. Ooh, and that matting on that book. When you grab a book and you're like, man, that just feels good. The cover stock on this is phenomenal. A little weird to say, but that's one of the things that I really enjoy. It's good presentation, and they got some good stuff going there. So that's something to keep an eye on if you're missing single issues, if you want some single issues. Haha is still getting some reprints happening there. So if you're missing out on your weird clown horror series, I don't say that facetiously. It's It's an amazing book and super creepy. You got the second print here, sort of the same design as the first one, sort of like a simple background with more of a character piece playing up top, which is really good. And the third issue will be out that same week. The artist always switches. Roger Langridge is doing the art for this one, so more of a cartoonist look, but probably still that same wild creepiness. Inkblot. Ooh, Inkblot number volume 1 is coming out. This is one of our absolute favorites. We're just gonna go quick here. It's by Emma Kubert and Rusty Glad. A powerful sorceress must attempt to correct her greatest mistake, the creation of a magical cat that can travel through time, space, and the 7 realms of reality. The cat threatens to unravel the fabric of the universe. Doesn't care and just won't listen because cats. I love it because it's this like weird little chaos creature who keeps going meow, meow, when it causes all kinds of heck. Cute as the dickens, and also just good for folks who are into kind of a more time travel-y dealy-hoo, which is us here at Variant Edition. What else we got? A lot of stuff continuing, including a new volume of Rat Queens. Rat Queens is a really fun series. It's basically, it's very, very kind of D&D heavy stylings about 4 young women who essentially go on quests, but they're kind of very foul-mouthed about all of it. It's just a lot of fun. I really enjoy that book. And we got the second printing of Stray Dogs, number 1. My pick of the week this week, because it was like very surprising, very phenomenal. And like it says here, Lady and the Tramp meets Silence of the Lambs. My take is more of a like Oliver and Company style art from my childhood, and just this really weird creeping horror thriller murder thing in the background. Extremely interesting. We have lots of copies of the first printing still in store. So folks who feel like they might have missed out, definitely reach out to us and we can get that happening. If you do want the second printing covered, definitely let us know, because we probably won't be ordering it. Because we got a decent chunk of the first prints, which we do expect to start going a little bit quicker. That's always what happens when they announce a sellout. The second issue is also on this week's F.O.C. We are at Dark Horse. Anything new from Dark Horse? It looks like Lady Baltimore. Baltimore is a series that Mike Mignola co-writes with Christopher Golden. It started out as a prose book and has moved over to comics. And this features one of the characters there. Once she was Sophia Volk, living in a village overrun by evil. In time, she became Lord Baltimore's most trusted ally. Now, more than a decade after his death, Europe has erupted with the early battles of World War II, and the dark forces are rising again. With witches, vampires, and Nazis on the march, Sophia must embrace the title of Lady Baltimore. But can she fight monsters without becoming a monster herself? The answer might I'm doing that myself. The answer might not surprise you at all, because there's comics and these things happen, baby. Alrighty. I know a couple people who'll be excited for the final issue of Voyage to the Stars, because that has been months in coming. So, folks, it is on its way. TMNT, the Best of Michelangelo. They've been doing these really nice collections that feature the specific turtles, and have they're all mostly pretty much done in one stories to get yourself a flavor of the various eras of turtles too. It's really cool. Let's see what Shadow of a Man is about, because I actually don't know. It is a European book, hence you can see it like a little wider if you can see. It says the 4th release of Alexis Press's The Obscure Cities series to be published by IDW. Oh, yeah. Man, I would like to kind of go back in and figure out what the first ones are. Again, because I do remember getting those in. But they're basically like a European horror series. Alberta, Chimizo, newlywed of just a few weeks to Sarah, begins to have nightmares. Dr. Vincent helps him to get rid of the nightmares, but a strange side effect of the treatment is that his shadow is in color afterwards. He struggles with this, losing his wife and his job in the process. He moves to the outskirts of Blesfeldstad, where he meets the lovely Mina. Together, they create a light show that becomes very popular in this bittersweet romantic noir tale. So basically, it's these kind of somewhat disconnected stories that have a little bit of a horror edge to it. Definitely more noir, as it says, but just like with this weird magical realism to it. Very interesting series, and something that we can go back and get past volumes for if a person is interested. Dracula, Vlad the Impaler graphic novel from Roy Thomas. He who used to work for Marvel back in the day. I believe he was one of the editors-in-chief after Stan Lee. And Esteban Morato. Dracula is one of the most well-known characters in the world, and now read the story of the man who inspired the legend in this graphic novel, available again for the first time in almost 30 years. A prince of Wallachia and son of Vlad Dracul, brackets, the dragon, Vlad Dracul the Younger, brackets, Vlad Dracula, is taken hostage as a young man by Sultan Mehmed to ensure his father's loyalty. When his father is killed at the hands of traitorous nobles in his own land, he assumes the crown and wages a cruel war to regain his lands and avenge his father. Throughout his life, he continued to fight to retain his kingdom, committing acts that would later lead to the formation of the famous character created by Bram Stoker, originally published in the 1990s. Way back in the 1990s. That's not how that song goes. It is now presented for the first time in black and white to showcase the beautiful art of Esteban Morato. And yeah, judging from the cover that I'm seeing in a bit of a wider lens over on my end as I read that, gorgeous. I really do wish I could figure out a way to pop that up without having to go through and share screen all the time, because that's not going to work too well. We're skipping the DC stuff because our DC stuff we're going to do outside of Diamond, of course. We'll do that with Lunar, that tab later. Marvel Comics has the Alien license because Disney owns Fox and Fox owns Alien and Predator. So that book is launching with writer Philip Kennedy Johnson, artist Salvador Larroca. And I've actually listened to some podcasts with Philip Kennedy Johnson. He has taken over DC's Superman books, and he's taken over Alien, which are two very disparate flavors. He has promised to do a really nice kind of horror take on Alien. The way he described it was very true to, I would say, the original movie. And and the original movie means a lot to him. Gabriel Cruz gave his life. In the case of the alien attack, he barely survives, almost literally. Recently retired, Cruz is trying to patch things up with his abandoned son with the help of his friend, a Bishop model android, but his re-entry into civilian life is not going smoothly, and his encounters with the deadly xenomorph are far from over. So yeah, it's building a personal connection instead of just doing sort of like a weird body horror take. I trust Philip Kennedy Johnson implicitly with pretty much any project now. He was somebody I was keeping my eye on from his indie projects. His Superman books for Future State are absolutely astounding takes on Superman, and that he is going forward with this look at this character that has such compassion and thoughtfulness in it is awesome. A lot of his books tend to be a lot more darker than Superman. So that's the feel that's going to be coming to Alien. So if you're interested in that, definitely let us know. Also, you got that fun Scotty Young cover which, Scotty Young always draws some good stuff. The Jen Bartel Women's History Month covers are continuing with this beautiful Shuri cover. I love it. I love it quite a bit. And Michael Cho's two-tone covers are also continuing. Kind of a mash there of a couple of cool cover concepts on sort of different ends of the artistic, not ends, I guess. It's more of like a blended spectrum. But they're, really cool. Some more Michael Cho there. There is the Carnage Black, White, and Blood. This is another of Marvel's anthology series, with Carnage at the lead. This you'll see is a webhead cover, like you've seen the Spider-Man covers that Patrick Gleason has done, with sort of like this etched line made out of webs. Folks that you can see in this issue are Al Ewing, Ben Percy, and Teenie Howard, with art from folks like Ken Lashley and John McCrae. It's gonna be like a weird, toothy, bloody anthology series. Like, that's what you gonna get. And I know a lot of people who love Carnage stuff and are looking for that kind of stuff specifically. Hello, Laurie. Thanks for checking this out. I do have a lot of fun doing all of these. The Friday ones can get a little dry because it is really going through and being like, well, this is very interesting. Even though I love doing all of this stuff. But yeah, it's important to know. Alrighty. Oh yeah, because we still haven't found a cool thing. Champions. This is a later volume of it, but Champions is a series that has a lot of the younger characters forming their own sort of Avengers team, because the adults aren't really trying to affect change in the way that they recognize, and they kind of take to their own. The second volume actually has a confrontation with the Avengers on those ideas. That concept is getting more and more relatable every single day. Cosmic Ghost Rider is getting a big ol' omnibus with all of his appearances thus far. So you're getting a wide range, including the Thanos story that Donny Cates originally showed him up in. For those of you who don't know, mild spoilers, if you really want to kind of keep away from mild spoilers of what a Cosmic Ghost Rider entails, but it's basically Frank Castle, who is like a space mercenary now in the future, and was the right-hand man of Thanos in the future. It's a bonkers concept, executed extremely well. It's weird to say that, but like you think like, oh no, like Frank Castle gets like Ghost Rider powers, but also like the power cosmic. Like, it's pretty dope. Seems like someone's fan fiction. But to be honest, and like, no knock on fan fiction, because there's always a lot of love and soul in all of that stuff, and I do appreciate that. But it's the style of idea that you're just like, that doesn't get to Marvel. Well, it did, and it was very popular. It's got a lot of stuff in here for a reason. One of the things to alert people to, especially if you've been enjoying WandaVision, House of M is back in print. This is a pivotal story about Wanda being able to control bits of reality. And so it is very important to the lore of the show, while it's not specifically referenced, because, no mutants currently. Or will there be? Interesting. Oh, sorry. No need to be sorry, Amber. Hi. Almost yawning. Yeah. I genuinely appreciate when folks are around, and we do see like a viewer count of what's happening live, so we know folks are out there. But yeah, chatting's always fun. But like I said, this one's always super dry. So, meh. But yeah, House of M. This is the one where she created a reality where mutants weren't hated and feared. They actually more or less kind of ran the world, and how bits of that would change reality and whatnot, and the results of it. So very pertinent to WandaVision, and a book that a lot of people have been asking for right now, but back in print. And I believe, let's see if it'll actually show me the back in stock date. It sure doesn't. It just says February 1st, 2006. I believe it is actually mid-April that it's coming back into stock. King in Black Scream #1. The character Scream. It just truly is Scream Returns. As a symbiote, and is obviously dealing with the King in Black Null stuff, because it's all symbiote stuff. And if you missed the character, because she did have her own series for a while there, she's back for you. Oh, I'm so excited that they're continuing the Peter Porker Spectacular Spider-Ham collections. You can finally get all of your awesome Peter Porker stuff, and find out where the character came from, because yes, it is absolutely as weird as you think it is, and as fun as you think it is. And now you can get all of it in 2 handy volumes, which I adore. Ooh, bacon. I mean, I had some bacon, quite honestly, earlier. I don't think Spider-Ham would really care for that idea, but these things happen. Banana. Oh, why did phone do that? Weird phone. Don't cause me troubles. There's a Predator omnibus coming out for folks who have been looking to get their hands on some of that good Dark Horse Predator stuff. Dark Horse has had that stuff out of print because, of course, everything's kind of moved over to Marvel, and so they can't really have it in print anymore. Marvel's re-putting some of a lot of their stuff back in print, including the first volume of the Darth Vader series by Kieran Gillen and Salvador Larroca, who you'll know as the current artist on Alien, as we listed above. I loved Kieran Gillen's take on Darth Vader, because it was basically this dude who's very powerful and feared, but is also middle management, because Darth Vader is. And he just had a big failure because that his series takes place in between episodes 4 and 5. So a wonderful take on a fearsome character. We got Taskmaster back for another printing because there's a new character introduced. This tends to happen with Marvel these days, when a new character is introduced, or any of the big companies when a character is introduced, everything sells out, and we need to go to second printings. We do not have issue 3s in the store, so if you've been looking for some Taskmaster stuff, that's a thing to look out for. I will say I've been adoring the Taskmaster series, because it's fun, it's funny. Taskmaster is a character who will apparently be in the upcoming Black Widow movie, and so they're doing a series so that they've got a collection ready to go when that comes out. And he's a dude who can basically, he's got a photographic memory, and he can I left that up. He can the moves that you use against him, he automatically learns, so it gets more difficult as it goes on. Also coming back into print, this actually just came out and went out of print immediately because it collects a lot of the foundational Vision and Scarlet Witch relationship stuff. A beautiful book, definitely very 80s, 70s, late 70s, 80s style. As you can see there, the books that they're pulled from is from like the mid 80s. So a heads up for folks, because I know that's a barrier for some. And then Vision is the more modern take that happened in 2015, 2016, where the Vision decides to kind of make his own family, like Wanda is doing in the TV show, and what that sort of entails and what that means for somebody who is an android and can't really have kids, which we all know is a bit of a barrier when you're a robot. Hard to have the children's. Or so they say. I wouldn't know, because I'm definitely not a robot. Dynamite's doing what Dynamite's gonna do. This Red Sony number 25 is actually the start of a new creative team. Mark Russell, one of my favorite writers, is actually off the title now, and Luke Lieberman is taking over with Drew Moss. So this is a functional number one. It has been generations since the end of Sonia the Red's travails. A baron, reflecting on her life, will undertake a quest that will force the past to become undead. So yeah, swashbuckly, very stabby. Amber says, just build one from dishwasher parts. That would work. I know personally, I don't think Danica would be very happy if I built us a wee baby child from dishwasher parts. It would be extremely amusing to come home and be like, look, a baby. And it's just like this weird mishmash of just like arms and limbs. I'm like, meh. I'm pretty sure Danica would love it. Oh, look at me. Her husband. Alrighty. What else we got? Vampirella versus Purgatory. Purgatory is an old Chaos Comics character from the 90s. Basically a demon lady with wings. Fighting her some Vampirella, a space vampire. I, again, don't say that to be facetious. That is just true stories. We had this on our banner for an F.O.C. 2 weeks ago, and it's finally actually on Final Order Cutoff. Firefly, brand new verse. It takes place 20 years after the events of Firefly. And Serenity soars in the verse once again with a new Captain Emma, the daughter of Wash and Zoe. The Zoe, basically, yeah. The old crew of the Serenity has gone their own way, and now Emma is working to prove herself to Zoe alongside a new crew of castaways and misfits just trying to stay afloat. But when Serenity takes a job from a familiar face, they discover that their new living, breathing cargo is far more than they bargained for and might bring them into conflict with the Alliance once again. Very excited for this because I feel like that universe is ripe to tell a whole bunch of new and interesting stories, and especially jumping forward. Be good. Squeegee me, daddy. Yeah, boys needing to be squeegeed because they are definitely parts that I got from a dishwasher. Ooh, Amber makes a good point, but then you'd have a dishwashing child. I'm pretty sure I could talk Danica into a wee dishwasher baby if it actually helped clean the house. Things to think about. I'll recommend Wind by James Tynion IV, and Michael and the last name that I can't think of. We're getting to it soon. Yeah, we are. Haha. Michael Dialianis. I do highly recommend Wind. It was a book that Boom had originally planned to put out as a graphic novel. It is a brilliant young adult story about figuring out who you are while horrible things are happening around you. These two creators worked on a book called The Woods, which Simone specifically, I think you would very much enjoy. It's a series about, it's basically like Battle Royale, where like a whole bunch of students are taken to a different planet, and they have to survive. And like there's some wild stuff happening there. And they all kind of slowly die just due to environment and each other and all that kind of stuff. And it's a really brilliant story, kind of like Lord of the Flies in space ish. And I do highly recommend that one. I think that's all for Boom hanging out here. I don't know if it's coming through, but I've got some chill vibes music going on now that I'm kind of quite enjoying. And we're getting to the rest of it before we get to DC. The Blade Runner Origins. If you want to know the origins of that world, the first issue is coming out very soon. The second issue is on F.O.C. Oh, Delicates from the folks who did Sheets. Just describe this. Marjorie Glatt's life hasn't been the same since she discovered a group of ghosts hiding in her family's laundromat. Wendell, who died young and now must wander the earth as a ghost with nothing more than a sheet for a body, soon became one of Marjorie's only friends. And that's sort of the take on Sheets. But when Marjorie finally gets accepted by popular kids at school, she begins to worry that if anyone learns about her secret ghost friends, she'll be labeled as a freak who sees dead people. With Marjorie's insistence on keeping Wendell's ghost identity a secret from her new friends, Wendell begins to feel even more invisible than he already is. Eliza Duncan feels invisible too. She's an avid photographer, and her zealous interest in finding and photographing ghosts gets her labeled as different by the other kids at school. Constantly on the outside, Eliza begins to feel like a ghost herself. Marjorie must soon come to terms with the price she pays to be accepted by the popular kids. Is it worth losing her friend Wendell? Is she partly to blame for the bullying Eliza endures? And it follows the events of Sheets, really growing that story about, a young girl's friendship with ghosts who live at her family's laundromat. Again, not facetious. I love comics because you can tell these bonkers stories, but it explains so much about, like, I don't know, the true bits of life. So yeah, really like that. Someone says The Woods is on my list. I read Battle Royale too. Yeah, I've read the prose novel of Battle Royale. I haven't read the manga, although I think it's been out of print for some time up here. And I believe we have the movie on one of our 2 watch lists. There's a gajillion streaming services, and we have access to almost all of them. Hollow Heart #1 is getting a second printing, a beautiful story about, as it says, a queer monster love story about a young man who is kind of falls in love with essentially a designed murder machine that's constantly in pain. And so it's a little bit about how we love, how we choose to love, and how we listen to the people that we love, and all that kind of stuff is absolutely outstanding. House Without Windows we might have talked about last week, but I'm just going to click on it anyways. By the delicate hand of Didier Casa comes a comic book documentary about the street children of Bangui, told in the style that mixes photo and illustration. In the Central African Republic, children grow up in a state of insecurity, poverty, and malnutrition. The 2013 conflict only exacerbated this situation. The Central African Republic has become what many call a house without windows. Through illustrations and photos, this comic takes you into the heart of this forgotten crisis. With Central African artist Didier Kessai and British photojournalist Mark Ellison as your guides, watch children at work in a diamond mine, observe life in a refugee camp, and meet the children of Bangui. A bit heavy, but needed. So, yeah, the Battle Royale pros, there's, well, someone, our general tastes. There's a few icky things, and there's always that weird bit where the main character is always like the coolest and all the girls are into him. And I'm not always a big fan of the character who's just like always the coolest and never loses, always one step ahead, and like can't even take a loss for the sense of tension. I'm looking at you, Vincent Thaddeus Diesel, and your movies that are fast, both Fast and Furious, or Chronicles of Riddick. Y'all need to be able to take a loss every now and then, like y'all did on The Pacifier. You ever watch The Pacifier? I had to watch that movie at least 25 times when I was working in a small town convenience / ice cream / video rental store. Where Vin Diesel, Hitman, has to take a job babysitting and does a great job. And Lauren Graham is there, and Lauren Graham is always wonderful and effervescent. I like her. She's good people. Scene, another volume of Scene. These are all self-contained stories, true stories of marginalized trailblazers. A new nonfiction graphic novel series for fans of March, and a quick and easy guide to they them pronouns that explores the stories of the real groundbreakers and marginalized trailblazers who changed our world for the better. Meet Rachel Carson, the woman who changed the way America fought against the environmental crisis through her best-selling books, ultimately spurring the creation of the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. Brittany Williams and Ria Abrego present the true story of the marine biologist whose dedication, compassion, and integrity gave a new generation of Americans hope for a brighter tomorrow. The subject is a name that I have not heard of before, and that is the point of Scene, is to get those folks out in front of people. I know Sunlight's been on there before. We've talked about that a few times, I think. And I think that might be it for what we'll be talking about on Diamond. Indeed, unless there's anything wild in the book section. No, should be good. All right. Let's get ourselves some DC Comics. Music. Yeah. What? 2012. I am a very good singer. Dropping beats on all your faces. This here, very important to note, Batman Fortnite 0 Point was announced today, is on final order cutoff. Next week, we need to know these numbers by Thursday. Yes, this does say final order cutoff of a while from now. It's just how we need to order stuff in Canada to get them on time and at a good price point. But yeah, the general gist is Fortnite's colliding with some Batman stuff. It's going to happen in the game as well. And you're going to get some comics components if that is your wish. There isn't much about it here because, like I said, it was announced today. It's up. And I was like, oh, are they going to get that to comic stores? And the answer is yes, by kind of dropping it and just being like, oh, guess what, guys? This is happening. Tell your peoples. So I am telling my peoples. See, I like that I can pop out the cover stocks and the things on Lunar. Lunar, you're doing a crackerjack job. The Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, there's 3 stories and one sort of done in the more animated style. So Batman animated and TMNT animation style. But these 3 volumes, the third one's finally coming out in softcover, are really great and scale up wildly. The third one actually even features art from Kevin Eastman in a really, really cool twist that adds another wrinkle to the storytelling. To tell you what it is kind of spoils it a little bit. So if the concept intrigues you, just know that the Batman TMNT stories have been really good and are written by current Batman writer James Tynion the Fourth. I'm excited for the conclusion of the Superman versus Imperious Lex series. That one is a nice, as Mark Russell, one of my favorite writers, is a nice allegory for a bit of colonialism, a bit of capitalism, a bit of the ills of society, etc., etc. Green Widow, Black Canary, Till Death Do Us Part, Do They Part, is a collection of some books from, I believe, the mid 2000s. This was definitely when I was in Red Deer still, where Green Arrow and Black Canary got married and then had a bit of a series about being married shenanigans when you're superheroes, because weddings go off without a hitch. You know how that goes, right? Yeah. Superhero weddings go off without a hitch. Same with wrestling weddings. Go off without a hitch. There's no problems, and nothing bad ever happens. The Joker Harley Criminal Sanity is wrapping up. This was a Black Label book that actually takes more of a modern crime TV series bent on tracking down the Joker. It has been really good. I'm looking forward to that conclusion. Tiny Titans Pet Club is finally collecting some more of the Tiny Titan stuff that has been out of print at a nice size for all ages. It is all the Tiny Titan stories about their pets, and that is always dope as heck. Did this just loop back? Is that all we got? Yeah. Right. I remember, because the amount of stuff that's actually coming out on this week of release is actually a fairly tight amount. So, hey, wow, we are looking like we're done this week at a nice, tight 42 minutes. Fancy. Thank you all for watching. I'm going to have me more of a lunch than the quick little bite that I had before the show started. And I'm going to start prepping some supper. I'm going to see what I can, if I can do an interesting meatloaf using some of the ground turkey that we got, and some Italian, mild Italian sausage, kind of like making a different kind of a flavor and adding a bit of different stuff in it. I will let you know how that goes, baby. If you're interested, ask me during another one of our things, or just private message any of us, and we'll let you know. All right. Thank you all for watching, and we will talk to you again in the future. Bye. Love you all.